up, YouTube fam? It's your boy Combat Carbon coming at you one more time. I was gonna wait and do this at a later time, but I'm still here at Ron Fellows, and what I want to do in this YouTube upload is show you guys some of the subtle differences between the 4 Corvettes that comprise C7 right now: the Stingray, the Grand Sport, the Z06, and the ZR1. So enough of that. Here we go. The guys here, the instructors at Ron Fellows, they were so gracious enough to allow me to get these 4 lined up next to each other so that we could take a look and see, yeah, basically all of them lined up. So you'll see you'll see it first here on the channel for Combat Carbon, and there it is, the King, the ZR1. So we'll work our way down. We'll go down here with the Stingray. This is going to be your base model Corvette. I do believe here they've got the Z07 package. So here are some of the things. Now that you got a Stingray lined up next to a Grand Sport, I got a lot of people asking questions like, I don't understand the difference between them. Well, on your Stingray, you've got this here. You've got the grill, and one of the main things that's going to make it stand out, it's about the same size opening, but you have this bar here. And when they first came out, they were chrome, and now depending on what package you can get them blacked out. Some people will wrap them, but that's going to be the main difference when you see one coming at you. You can look down at that grill, you see that bar, you know you got just your standard Stingray, or not standard Stingray, but you have the basically number 1 in the line of 4. As well, I'm going to shift over here a little bit and see if you can tell the side. You got your fender flares. The Stingray is a little bit more straight of a vehicle, and I'm trying to get the right angle. The flares, it doesn't come out as much, and the biggest part is this side vent you can see, and not all of them will have the Stingray. Most of them do have that Stingray emblem there, but compared to a Grand Sport, you can see the Grand Sport comes out a little bit wider, and this is the body style you're going to get on the Z06. So if you come down, and I'm trying to think what the best angle will be, but yeah, just looking at that distance there between the edge of the light and the body paneling there. So we'll come up here where it flares out the most, and I'll keep my hand the same and see how much difference it is. So there you go. You can see here my thumb is sticking out a little bit more. So just the side flares, they extend out a little bit more. All right, so you got that. As well, we'll look at some of these vents here for the rear differential. These vents, and actually I don't know that they work for the rear differential on your standard Stingrays. I think it's just an air flow through for air, but you'll see here it's a little more open. You come over to the Grand Sport and Z06, you've got this housing that comes over on top that gives you a little bit more cupped air. So there's your biggest difference between the Stingrays and your Grand Sports. You're basically getting the wider fender flares. The front grille is going to be a little different, and then that side vent on top of the rear quarter panel there is going to be changed up a little bit. All right, so then here we go. We got a beautiful Grand Sport here, and this one's fully tricked. This one has the, what is this, the carbon flash around the front splitter and the side, so you get a good look at that there. Get my shadow out of the way. There you go. So carbon flash, and again, a lot of people, they ask what's the difference between Z06 and Grand Sport. So we'll come back here. You've got the Z06 and the Grand Sport. To the untrained eye, these cars pretty much are identical. Here are the key things. From the front, you'll be able to see it coming at you. Not necessarily, you won't be able to tell the difference from the grill, but if you look at the hood here, and I'm going to try and get a good angle on it, you can see that the Grand Sport hood actually comes to a point, and this one actually has a stripe on it, and you can tell that the stripe is a little bit wider. If you come up here, this paint here, you got your heat extractor vent right here, and the paint stripe is coming right into it, where we'll step over to the Z06. Come over to the Z06, and you can see it's a little wider, and it flares out a little bit more. Unfortunately, this one's not painted. I'll see if I can find one that does have a painted stripe, because it really makes it defined. But this heat extractor vent is a little bit wider, and this flares out a little bit more to the side here. So this is actually, and we'll come down, the Z06 hood is flat. It doesn't come to a point, and that's to make room for your blower because you have that supercharged engine in there. So that's going to be one of your main subtleties that differentiates it from the start. If you see it coming from the front. Again, we'll take a look at the side vent here. This one, blatantly Grand Sport. This is the easiest way that I identify a Grand Sport from a Z06. All Grand Sports are going to come with this. You basically have like two separate vents, and it's split there in the middle. It says Grand Sport. You come over here to the Z06, you've got one flush. There is no division. You still have kind of this Z06 here, but there's no even separate panels there in the side. It's just the black, and it has the Z06, so it really tells you what the car is on the side. Now granted, sure, somebody could buy a Grand Sport and put a Z06 emblem on it. I've never seen that. So the next thing, let's see, we covered the vents. The vents are going to be the same. The next biggest difference, so you got your differences from the front, the side, and now the rear. On your Grand Sport, you've got the brake lights and reverse lights. You can see here they've got the white reverse lights surrounded by the red. There you go. And then we'll take a look, we'll jump back to Stingray here. Stingray, same setup. You got the white reverse lights and the red. I didn't cover that with the differences between Stingray and Grand Sport because guess what? There's no difference. So you come over to the Z06 though, and you've got the all white housing. Yes, you can buy a Stingray and a Grand Sport and change these out. I'm sure someone's going to comment down below, oh well, my buddy's got a Grand Sport and it's got clear lights on it. Okay, cool, you can remodify any of this stuff aftermarket, but I'm talking about cars that come stock from the factory without any extra mods. Maybe you could ask a dealer to do it, sure, sweet. But anyway, there you go, you got the clear lights there. And this actually does bring me to one more thing. Now that we're back here showing the rear, if you're coming up between or behind a Stingray and a Grand Sport and you can't quite tell from the haunches on the back of the Grand Sport being a little wider, I want you to take a look at something here. You've got this vent here for air to come off. I forgot what it is in there, but there's some kind of contraption that's for cooling. But anyway, you're getting air that's vented out, and I hope, man, it's so bright out here in Pahrump, Nevada. But this one's going to be a little bit wider. Let's see here. Let's use my fingers. So all four of my fingers here is the width of this vent in the back. We're going to come over to Stingray. That whole back panel is half, like my whole hand. All four fingers now cover the whole hand. Or sorry, all four fingers are the width of that back panel. You could barely get two fingers in there, so to speak. But yeah, so this vent here is going to be much thinner, and that's because it's not flared out as much. So there you go. As well, I do believe, before I say it, we're going to take a look and just make sure. Don't quote me on this, which I mean you can, and actually some of you Z06 guys can let me know. On my Grand Sport, this rear light here is red, and on the Z06 I do believe it's white. So anytime there's a red light, they must use red lenses. I'm not sure. Chuck over there at Corvettes 918, let me know how those lights work. I know you've put covers on them, you've changed some lights out and everything, so let me know what's up with that, and we'll press from there. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go back to the front of the Z06 and take a look at Z06 and ZR1. All right, from the front, I mean, you can't mistake a ZR1. This front end is just a beast. It is a monster. So here, of course, this Z06 is fully tricked out. It's got the max aero. But again, this is something you can get for the Grand Sport. If you're really not tracking it, all you're doing is cutting down on your gas mileage, adding drag to the car. It's not necessary. It looks good. For me, I think it kind of takes off some of the round lines of the car that I like. So on mine, I don't actually have those winglets on the front, but and you can tell, you can see here, you can see the front of the tire. Actually, let's get it from the sunlight. You can get the front of the tire there. You can see it sticking out versus you come over here to the Z06 and you see that this winglet is actually covering that tire, so you're not getting as you know, any of that wind buffeting, and it's getting it arced right over that fender flare, that plastic that goes there. All right, so there's Z06 front and the ZR1, and let me tell you, I've been telling people, they've been asking me, what do you think about the ZR1? I wasn't sure because there's a line. You know, you look at the side here, and basically your the Stingray hood, we'll do that real quick. The Stingray hood sits a little bit lower, and that's just because of the like I said, the haunches. It kind of flares out a little bit more, so I think you get a little bit more raised. You come back to the Grand Sport, you see the lines of the Grand Sport hood as you back, and then you see the Z06, obviously the center, because of your blower on top of the engine, to make room for that. That's coming up a little bit. And then obviously we all know about the ZR1 and its supercharger. It's exposed for cooling, and you got this carbon fiber piece here, and this opens up, and you got the hole there, and you also have the heat extractor vent. So I mean, really, there's no need to explain the difference between a Z06 or the ZR1 front end and any of the other vehicles, because boom, you know it. All right, so let's see, you're approaching from the side. You've got, looking again at the vents, each vent of a C7 or any Corvette is it's kind of a special stamp on that body style. So here you've got just more carbon fiber, and I bought the carbon fiber edition. Ain't that crazy? Anyway, that's not a knock GM, I love it. Anyway, you got this more kind of gaudy, but it looks good. But yeah, it's just a little bit bigger of a side vent versus the Z06. And as you notice, the Grand Sport and Z06, it actually says it on the ZR1. They didn't put the ZR1 badge on the vent. They put it up here on the hood. So there you go. You got that on the hood. Coming back to the sides, the scoops are the same. Everything's the same. You know, basically all they did was change the front end for that massive blower that they put on for the engine there. But the rest of the car going back is the same. Now you do get to the wing, Chuck, you call it the wang. I think everybody calls it the wang. How can you not? This thing, this car is ready for flight, and I'm sitting here right now touching on this wing. It is light, so light, and it adds so much more downforce because it has more downforce because of the surface area that it's creating, but it actually has less drag than the Z06 Grand Sport Stage 3 aero package. And you can tell that as you look at it. Just look how aggressive. I mean, this is basically a brick wall sitting back here. I actually call it the hammer because to me it's a hammer for the wind. All your airflow is just hitting this, and this is just causing drag. And I was actually in the vehicle with the instructor today, and they were saying that the Stingray actually has a higher top end speed than the Z06. The Z06 with a stage 3 full aero, due to the fact that it produces less downforce and creates less drag. So it's got about another 8 to 10 mph on the top end. But anyway, let's come back here. The rear of the ZR1, again, this is my first time seeing it, so this is pretty cool. But yeah, it looks like the same in the rear as the Z06. No differences there. Something that I think is really cool, and I'd love to know in an option package, on your Stingray, and I'll take a look down there, we have this lip here that actually sits underneath the rear spoiler. This is actually a separate piece that's going around that your spoiler is bolted into. I don't know if those bolts go all the way through to the body, the rear panel, or not, but I think if you got this car tricked out, this one seems to be the Arctic White, but man, I would love if you had black accents on your car, such as they do here with the windows, I'm sorry, the side mirrors. I think it'd be really cool if you could get this piece in black. Just add a little extra pop to the rear. So if somebody's out there, go ahead, wrap it, and let us know. I do see a subtle difference. Man, I love these cars, man. You discover something new every day. This rear light here, it is much smaller. It's only about 7 or 8 inches across. So there you go. You got that there. So the light there underneath the wing is not as big. And of course you got ZR1. And then you come over here, and this will be the same for the Z06, Grand Sport, and Stingray, you got the much wider light there. So there you go. The way they have them tricked out here is really the max aero that you want. I know a lot of people want me to go ahead and put that extra wicker bill, that clear wicker, on the front of the car. I don't do it because my car, honestly, I've got the 460 horsepower. Yes, could my car power through the extra drag? Yes, it can. But really all I'm doing for driving it around town, I'm just adding drag. I'm just adding or decreasing my miles per gallon. So there's no need to do that. So, but you got the extra 200 horses on your Z06. So yeah, slap it on there, power through it, you're good to go. So this is basically, if you have a Z06, I mean, this is as tricked out as it's gonna get right here. If you got the Grand Sport, you really don't have a need for all that extra aero because you don't have the power that's going to push through that. So, and I've been out here at Ron Fellows tracking these bad boys. But let me tell you, I've got a Grand Sport. A lot of people talk about the horsepower and everything, and I'll show that in another video. Most of the Z06s out here, I was straight fetching them. I was on the bumper of every Z06. If an instructor wasn't in it, if it was a student, I was eating up Z06s all day in my Grand Sport. Why? Because horsepower does not necessarily mean you're fast. It means GM gave you a fast car, doesn't mean you can drive it as fast as GM produced that car to be driven. So I went with the Grand Sport. It was just so much more subtle, very, very easy to handle. But anyway, we'll wrap that up. I'll wrap this vlog up. And hey man, one shot, one kill, that's the deal. We're gonna do this all in one take. And yeah, man, we'll get another montage here of these beauties all lined up again. Boom. Sorry, excuse the sweat. We're out here in Pahrump, just outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. If you purchased a Corvette from the dealer, I believe it's if you order it or you purchase one brand new, because I did not order the Carbon 65 that I have. In fact, we'll go ahead and finish this over behind the Grand Sport because that's my favorite. This metallic gray here, oh, it's great. Anyway, yeah, if you ordered it or you bought it brand new, you're gonna get a deal from Ron Fellows to come here to Ron Fellows, or it's really Ron Fellows Spring Mountain Raceway out here in Pahrump, Nevada. It's about 45-55 minutes just outside Las Vegas, depending on how fast you drive. But use that deal. You're getting a course that costs $3,500 for $1,000. And let me tell you, if you think for a single second that you pushed your Corvette anywhere close to the max on normal city roads, you're just wrong. Period, dot. You can say the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, doesn't matter. Rises in the east, sets in the west. You can call it all day. Sometimes you're just wrong. But yo, you gotta come out here, you gotta push these vets to the max, and we didn't even do it. I think the instructors, we got to do a ride along with them here in the end. They told me that they were only pushing the car to 70%, which let me know that I was probably only getting 50% of the max performance out of my car, which means on a day-to-day basis, when I drive my car around town, I'm probably only using 10, maybe 15% when I'm really getting on it. So anyway, there's so much to be learned out here. This is the environment that I believe, well, that I know that these cars were designed to perform in and to be operated in. You can take them out to a drag strip, but you're only touching 10% of what this car could do. Yes, it's fast in a straight line, but it's designed to be fast coming out of a turn, and then you make your straight lines out on the course. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these differences. Let me get my mug off the face or off the camera here, and there you go. So one more time down the line,
Are you listening?
you guys want to, get into YouTube so you guys can pause it and take a look. So here you go. You've got Stingray. Taking a look at those front lines. Again, the grill, major difference. The side haunches there. The side fenders don't flare out as much. You got that side vent, just what I call the basic vent because it's on a Stingray. So there you go. Not a basic machine by any means. Then you come over here, side vent of the Grand Sport one last time. Wider fender flares. You got a much more open grill on your Grand Sport and Z06. You don't have that bar that's going across there. You've got more of this kind of honeycomb ventilation there. Swing over to the Z06. Oh, and again on the Grand Sport, you got that pointed hood. There you go. Pointed hood line, not as wide. You come over here to the Z06, same difference, but the hood line is flat. It doesn't come to a point, and that's to make room for that blower. Then you come over here to the ZR1. It needs no explanation. It is the king. They designed this car so you know if you look in your rearview mirror, you might as well get out the way because this is gonna hunt you down. There's no point in trying to outrun this bad boy. So there you go. All right, y'all. This is Combat Carbon signing off in front of the king ZR1, and we'll catch you on the next upload, y'all. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. GoPro, stop recording.